I'm Natasha Sideris, the founder and managing executive of the Tashas Group that owns 4 brands: Tashas, Flamingo Room, Avli and Galaxy Bar. Wow, I think there's a couple of things that make a good leader, and I try and follow suit with those things. And I think a good leader really is introspective and looks at themselves when they're trying to make critical decisions or when they're driving the business, to always look at what they can do better before they can even expect their staff to do things better. I would say one of the things is that a good leader doesn't push, they pull. And to get your people behind you, and as you're moving along, is that you're pulling them with you, so they start believing in your dream. And then of course to give people the freedom to make mistakes, because that is going to happen. You have to allow people to make mistakes in a leadership role. Coming to the UAE, learning a different culture, adapting to a different way of doing things, and catering and tailoring your brand to make sure that you are also speaking to the local communities here has been really, not a challenge, but really an important focus, something that we had to put a lot of energy into. I think we've been super blessed. We have a massive local following, and so that's amazing. Another challenge, of course, is financing. A lot of people have heard me say that I had to get money from a loan shark when I opened my first Tashas, which is a true story. This location that we're sitting in is probably some of the world's best restaurants are in the DIFC. If you have to draw a parallel between the DIFC and any sport, it'd be like, you know, your Major League Soccer is happening here in the DIFC. Don't underestimate the importance of interiors. I know that there are a lot of pop-ups happening which are amazing and people are doing incredible things, but I think if you're going to invest in a long-term restaurant where you want it to be busy for the next 20 years, is don't underestimate just how important spending money on the space is, because people at the end of the day are coming for an experience as well as the food. I think that in a world where social media sort of rules everything, my first piece of advice to a young entrepreneur or a young female getting involved in F&B is to not to try and be everything to everyone, not to get fixated on what other people are doing. Have a vision, have a concept and stick to it, because you can't be all things to all people. And you know, when you keep scrolling through those Instagram pages, you get insecure, and then you find there's a lot of copycat brands because everyone sort of wants to do what everyone else is doing. And my advice to an entrepreneur who would become the next Natasha Sideris is have a concept, make sure it's authentic, make sure you're serving a good product, and don't try and be everything to everyone, because inevitably you'll fail. You know, you've got to have your roots and your culture and your ethics right and your concept right, and then stick with that. Don't waver with every trend that happens, and don't try and do every single thing that everyone else is doing. My first piece of advice and I think things have changed a lot recently, and I think women are being taken a lot more seriously. When I started in F&B 26 years ago, you know, I don't know if women's rights were what they were today, but I had never started out in the food business with that mindset. I didn't sort of have that chip on my shoulder, so I came into it with confidence, knowing what I want to do, honest, sincere, and everything else sort of fell into place. I could imagine that it would be very difficult, especially if females are getting involved in a corporate environment that's mainly male dominated. But I think if you focus your energy there, then it's going to be a problem. If you sort of ignore it, you'll get ahead. And that's what would be my advice. Don't let being a woman hold you back. Don't even put emphasis on it. Just like everybody else, you've got a good idea, you're talented, you're prepared to work hard, it'll happen. It's a long time. I haven't achieved that much in 26 years. Slow growth. You know, a lot of people would say that 24 restaurants in 15 years, it's slow. It's like 1.5 a year. But for us, and for me, it's been more about being steady and true to our product and our culture, rather than just, you know, sort of mass rollout.
Slow and steady wins the race.
Slow and steady wins the race. So wherever we go, to whatever country we're going to or whatever region we're going to, it'll always be slow and considered. We've just signed a deal for Tashas in Saudi with an unbelievable partner. We're extremely excited about the partnership and the relationship. And again, we're going to open in Riyadh. We are going to take it super slow. We're going to find the right location. It's going to be about experience, and the rest will happen organically. When I opened my first Tashas, I thought I was going to go back and study psychology. That's the degree I've got, and I was going to carry on with my studies. And it was a success, and we've grown it slowly. And that's what we're going to do. We'll go to Riyadh. We'll open our first one, hopefully make an impact. Hope we'll have a great following, and then we'll open slowly. But we certainly are not looking at opening 20 or 30 in the region. And then, of course, the UK we're looking at. We've seen a very interesting market in Germany. which I think is exciting. The UK is quite tough, very big barriers to entry. Again, the model will be across the whole of the UK, 20, 25 Tashas, 1 Flamingo Room, 1 Avli. There'll only ever be 1 and 1 of those in every city that counts. So big ambitions for a young entrepreneur and a female entrepreneur who's starting out in, I keep referring to myself as young, but I'm actually not, I'm 45. You got to stop and smell the roses. And it's something that I find very difficult to do. I never pat myself on the back. It's never good enough. I'm always pushing, and it's unhealthy. So I'd say the overriding goal, personal goal, is to find a bit more balance and to just stop and smell the roses sometime and say, good job. And for me, that's the biggest reward. Not the money, not the glamour, not the opening, it's the people. Done.